All right, now let's take a look at the certifications available. A student asked me to go over this specifically, and there are two types of certifications. There is proprietary and there's non-proprietary. Actually, even though this slide talks about proprietary, first let's talk about why you would want non-proprietary. Non-proprietary is almost like an agnostic look at just the concepts themselves. So even though, for example, CompTIA is a pretty powerful company and they have a lot of say what goes, they have a say. They put together these certifications, the A+, Net+, Server+, and Linux+. It's a little bit like how a university or a program puts together a course system or a curricula based on course outcomes. So this course is put together, and the university has specific learning outcomes that they expect this course to have, and that applies to all of your courses throughout all the universities in all the curriculums. And it's supposed to, a student that goes to the entire program is supposed to get a certain amount of exposure to various things, and of course they're going to be adaptive throughout time as time progresses, and that is especially true in technology and computer science and in information technology. Now I can't really say this about, let's say, accounting, because A equals L, assets equals how should I say, the ultimate accounting formula is assets equals liability minus expenses, or whatever, if that makes sense. And has been the same as it has gone through time. However, when it comes to technology, you have the onset of virtualization, the onset of the increased urgency of exploitation. So you have more concerns in cybersecurity, and you have the onset of, as we'll talk about in devices and technologies, the onset of different types of devices that can connect to the internet, like in the Internet of Things, IoT devices. You have IPv6. So it wasn't too long ago, whereas, for example, A+ or Network Plus was only dealing with IPv4, and now IPv6 has reared its ugly head, and IPv6 is basically everywhere now, because we live in an IPv6 world because of things like IoT, because of like wireless, and that wasn't necessarily there 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. And so this information in non-proprietary that CompTIA produces is going to change over the years. So some of these you have to understand that you take once and you're going to have to take them again every 3 years. So we have A+, Net+, Server+, and Linux+. Of these four, the ones that get the most respect are probably the two is Server+, and definitely Linux+. Linux Plus is, out of these four, probably the one that is most quote-unquote worth its salt. We have here the other non-proprietary. Well, actually, this is in non-proprietary. Actually, this should be shifted over here, and because Red Hat is very proprietary. But here we have Linux, and you could say that they're non-proprietary, but they're not. Well, the reason why I would say that they're non-proprietary is that they're industry standard certificates, but this company. Okay, let me go back here and let me make it a little bit bigger. Linux Professional Institute really doesn't sell anything other than they sell services and things like that. Whereas proprietary, you have Microsoft MTA, MCSE, MSCA, MSMCSD. Those are all good certificates. And then we have Cisco, which is definitely proprietary, because Cisco, they're like the Microsoft of network devices. So Cisco's been buying up, other companies for the last 30 years, and they become a giant in the world of networking. So I suggest you just look these up on your own, and you have an idea of where to start. Now, when it comes to devices and technologies, that's going to be a no-brainer, because as I said, nowadays Nowadays, it's BYOD, bring your own device. And that is because now every device is connected to the internet, everything from inanimate objects to traditional devices that we would normally think. We have tablets, we have PCs, we have laptops, and all kinds of modalities. But now vacuum cleaners and the Roombas, all of those can connect to the internet. So you just have to be much more careful. So this is the final slide of this week, and I just wanted to, kind of reinforce the idea of the fact that you have to be aware of all of these areas: storage, networking, security, disaster recovery, admin, management areas. And you have to understand when it comes to, when it comes to your job, you have to set an example that you have to be in charge of, maintaining reliability and stability and ensuring that your assets not only can be available to those who need it, but also they need to be protected from those that may exploit it and even inadvertently may make your system vulnerable. So one area of profound change, and remember, anything you do, any change you do as a system admin can lead to profound change. By profound change, what I mean is it's going to be long lasting. And one way you can help, maybe deploy your policy is having a great training program. Because one security expert told me once that you can eliminate 90% or 95 or even 99% of exploitations if you do two things. Number one, you prevent your clients or your workers from downloading errant attachments, and number two, USB infection. So people bring in their USBs from home, plug it into their work PC or their laptop, and infect the laptop. So if, for example, you were able to have a good training program that facilitated accountability and facilitated, continual improvement in those two areas, then you would basically have 95% of your stability problems licked. Okay, this is Jason Myers wanting to say thank you. And this week we did a lot of things. We had a couple demonstrations, and I hope you enjoyed watching them, and I hope you got something out of it.